right, come on, let's go.
All right, one more time from the beginning.
All right.
Hey y'all, it's Chloe and we're back with another video. So you guys, one of my subscribers, Cliff Washington, asked me a question in the last live we had, right? And the question was, do you allow your significant other to have friends of the opposite sex? Now, me and a couple of other people in the live decided that it's a no-go. I'm the only friend you need. You don't need no other friends, okay? Not over here. And that's how I feel. I feel like it's just too much, okay? So with that being said, I would like to discuss that topic, and I brought in an old friend of mine from high school. Hey, girl, hey.
Hey.
I'm going to let her introduce herself, and then we're going to jump right into the topic, okay? So
hey, folks. It's me, Keontae, short for Key. I'm a therapist in training, quote unquote, primarily working with children and families and marital issues. So I am in training for that. So yes, and I will soon be getting my PhD. So yes to that. Black education, magic. So let's do this.
Okay, so now I have a series of questions that I want to ask you, okay? Just to get a feel for, like, you know, should I change my mind, or, you know, am I on the right track? I got a high feeling that it probably won't change. Probably won't. But we just going to discuss some stuff for the people out there who may be having the same problem, okay? So the first question I wanted to ask you is, do you think that gender should play a role when it comes to who that person's best friend is? Like, should it really matter if their best friend is a girl or a male of the opposite sex?
You know, this question comes up a lot, really, in a lot of marital sessions I've done so far. And I can say it is a big thing, you know, based off of trust. But as long as that female or that male doesn't pose a threat on a relationship, it's a good thing. You know, it's a healthy input because they're looking as an outsider. You know, they're just like, I feel for you, you know, giving that empathy and that sympathy that you need. It's not like, hey, yo, I'm listening, I'm ear hustling what you're saying, you know, give me some tips and tricks on how to get your man or your woman. It's merely me saying, you know, I am who I am as a trusted friend to lend a listening ear, and just, you know, if you need some form of positive enlightenment or advice, I'm here to give it to you, because at the end of the day, it's about y'all. It's not about you and me and y'all. No entanglements. It's just y'all two.
No
entanglements, people. Just y'all two. Just two. Just want to make that clear.
Okay. So this leads me to my next question, because as a female, right, if my husband had a female best friend, I would feel some type of way if he was confiding in her about our relationship. I mean, like, it's us. Like, if we have a problem, we could discuss it. Don't discuss our problems with another female, because I don't know, like, y'all say y'all friends, but you don't know if she's just waiting to, you know, swoop in. You don't know what kind of advice she's giving him. I don't know how deep the conversation may be, you know, like things like that. So how do you feel about it when it comes to actually communicating about your relationship with that friend of the opposite sex?
I get this question too. I do. That's probably why I remain single sometimes. I like that question. To be in all honesty, first and foremost, I ain't playing Inspector Gadget. And I say that really because I ain't going to be listening for I spy clues and all that stuff from what's being said echoed to me that could be a hindrance. Females and males can be messy, point blank. That's just it when it comes to getting into people's relationships. That's why communication and boundaries is the key. Like, what is on the topic to communicate to? That's in terms of us. I don't want you talking about us in the bedroom. If you could say, hey, we had an argument about, you know, finances, that's off the table. You know, if you want to give us some parenting advice, you know, if we're having difficulty with our children, who's a special needs child, and you have a child that's special needs, give us that advice. Tell us how to work through it. But sex, you know, finances, all that other stuff, the list could go on. That's a no-go, because then that means that that's giving you leeway to, you know, hang yourself and be in my sheets, and I don't want you in my bed.
Exactly.
That's it.
Exactly. So you think that it really just comes down to just setting those boundaries as what can be communicated and what cannot be communicated?
Absolutely. You need that communication day one with your spouse, especially when they have multiple female friends. And, the same thing goes for females when they have multiple guy friends. You got to set that boundary in terms of what can be communicated. You can't be talking about your dude saying to your other dude, your male friend, my dude ain't got no job. That ain't none of his business. That's something that you need to bring at your dinner table to your spouse, your boyfriend, fiance. Same rules apply to men with their difficulties with their women,
Right.
Same thing. You don't need to be talking about that with, sex.
Yeah.
You don't need to be talking about that with another female. Nah, those are just, period. You just don't do that. You don't do that because insecurities come into place. Doubt come into place, and then that makes the person feel less than a woman, less than a man. And that's what you never want to do. You don't want to belittle someone's manhood if they're a guy. You don't want to belittle a female through their womanhood, because that's all they got at the end of the day. If they don't have nothing else, they're still a woman, they're still a man, they still gonna feel, they still gonna be human. Their flesh is weak, but you gotta respect that with a boundary.
So I know this is kind of like, it's still on topic, but it's not like with opposite sex. But being as though you brought it up, do you think that should apply to just friends in general when it comes to talking to your female friends or your male friends of the same sex? It should still be those same boundaries? Or do you think that it's a little more of an open window?
Nah, still boundaries.
Still boundaries?
Still boundaries. You have to have boundaries no matter what, because people cross the line. People really do cross the line unintentionally and intentionally.
Right.
And sometimes at the end of the day, people are not very trustworthy. Some people, I'm sorry to break it out there, I'm a therapist in training, I got to put it out there. You can put your trust into people all you want, but they know how to use it, and then will use it to their best advantage and be a snake in the grass and be smiling in your face sitting at your dinner. And that's where you really be looking like Bozo the Fool, because they're using things against you. That trust, that boundary. You really got to deal with them boundaries, people. Boundaries. I'm really being honest. Boundaries is key.
Okay. So what we got from that so far, you guys, is that it's about your boundaries. Where do you set the boundaries in your relationship as to what can and cannot be communicated to any party, same sex or opposite sex, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right. So back on topic, what if that person on your relationship, what if they had a past as to where they cheated? Then does that, make it a little bit more, what's the word I'm trying to find? Like
complex.
Less comfortable, complex than it should be, because like you cheated. It started somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
Whether it was with someone from the past, someone new, a friend that turned into an entanglement, or whatever the case may be. Do you think that then it becomes a situation where it's like, well, maybe you shouldn't have any type of friends of the opposite sex, period?
You know what? I read a book about this, actually. I'm going to be honest with you. And they make us read these books for a valid reason, because these questions come up. I can't remember the book, but when I get that book, I'm going to send it to you. The wife, long story short, the wife allowed her husband to have a female friend, and the female friend wound up hitting on him, and they had an affair.
Sounds like a Lifetime movie.
Straight up.
Attraction.
All the way, part 1 through 12. But in that case scenario, you know what? Cheating, you really can't control the cheating, when they cheat and how they cheat,
Right.
Unfortunately, it could be past, present, future, near 2021. It's just the way it go. And yeah, it do be like, yo, really, you really shouldn't be like having no female friends. And dudes may be like, hey, yo, you a flirt. Like, you shouldn't be having no male friends if you're going to be touching and giggling and twirling your hair and looking at your man. You'll be like, here you go. Here's my number. No, you don't want that. You don't want that. And I'll personally tell anybody, I'm not a cheater.
Right.
I flirt. So if you mistake my flirt as a form of cheating, then you don't know me. I am a Scorpio. It is in my nature to cheat on the, not to cheat on the low. And that's just how it is. And when I say I flirt, there's a degree of flirting.
Okay.
You know, I'll say, hey, how you doing? I might, pay for a bill if we're having drinks with a guy, something like that. And they might mistake a touch or something like that. Once again, boundaries. That might look like cheating. It's not cheating. It's my innocent version of flirting.
Right.
But to make a long story short, if your dude was grimy from day one, and I mean he had 20 chicks up in his DM versus just you in his DM, and he got a reputation as being
maybe not.
If you know your chick is some chick like Corinne Stevens or somebody that want to be out there and want to do her thing, maybe not.
Maybe not.
So it's just that you got to know the character and the mindset that your significant other is and who they are before you. That's why having that communication in terms of, yo, how many relationships have you been in before me?
Right.
You got to ask that question. If they say 10 within the last 6, 7 months,
you a hopper. Relationship hopper.
Relationship hopper. I like that word. I got to use that.
Uh-huh.
So it's like that. You got to look at it like that, really, honestly.
Okay, so basically, y'all, what I got from that was, and this is just my interpretation, okay? If they be cheating, no friends.
Nah, you ain't gonna have me lurking in no bushes playing Inspector Gadget.
Don't trust it. Do not trust it, y'all. Do not trust it. Okay, where we at, y'all? Okay, question number 4. Now, what if they dated in the past, had a relationship, and the relationship ended, and now they're just good friends and they have mutual friends in common? So it's not like, like there's no more feelings there. They just remain good friends. And they have mutual friends and they may, hang out or be in the same circle. In that case, how should a significant other feel about that friendship?
He or she should feel somewhat uneasy, but it should be somewhat trusted that this was someone of the past. It's going to be uneasy all the way around. A person you used to date is in the circle, and now y'all mutual friends, and now you got a significant other. Everybody feeling some type of way. It's going to be uneasy for everybody. So
you think maybe you shouldn't remain friends? Because my husband's over here sucking his teeth like, nope.
No, and that's what I'm getting to. No, you shouldn't remain friends because still, once again, feelings still tend to arise. Still, feelings tend to arise. It may not be on your part as a female, but it could be always on the male part or vice versa. That's why I got this number 1 rule. I really do. I swear I do. Maybe I might need to flip the rule. My rule is when we break up, I break up with mutual friends too.
We all can't be friends no more.
We all can't be friends because I don't want you to tell him what I'm doing, and I don't damn sure want to know what he's doing.
Right.
You're not going, and then don't try to play matchmaker and use what I got going on by him being single to get us back together. Nah,
So no past relationship friends. No, that is off the table completely. I agree with you. I mean, I can understand why you would think you would still want to be friends with that person, because especially if there's no bad blood between you. But I can also understand the respect issue that comes into play, because being as though you had a past, there's always something that could possibly come up, even just hanging out together. Those memories that you guys may discuss where you guys were together, even if your friends are bringing them up, things like that. So I can understand that. And I definitely agree that there has to be a point where when the relationship ends, the relationship ends. And that's why a lot of people say, I don't want to ruin our friendship by being together. Because once you get with someone, your friendship is now voided, especially if you go into another relationship in the future. It makes sense. It makes perfect sense. Okay, so here's a question for you, right? Have you ever had a friend, or someone you consider a friend or best friend, or someone, your brother, your homie, okay, come on to you?
Gosh. Yeah, you have to bring out the black book here.
Because I've had instances where there are guys. Now, I've heard that most guys are put into friend zone. They just don't become your friend. You realize that there's nothing between you that can go further, and you place them in the friend zone, and now they're your friend. Right. So
okay. It has happened.
Okay.
It has happened. Not often, but yes, it has happened. And I'm gonna take it all the way back to when we were like in our 18s going into our 20s. You know, it was like my first like love. Like I really love this person. So he did hit on me, but he would never try to get with me. He always wanted friends that were my girlfriends. So he never really cared for me in that capacity.
Okay.
So it was like he did try to hit on me, but to eliminate that void, he would try to hook me up with one of his male friends. And I was just like, I want you. So it was like, you want your cake and eat it too, but you want your other Petra's Farm cookies, you want your other double dogs, you want your other cupcakes on the side.
So basically he was hitting on you, but then trying to get with your friends too.
Right.
So he was trying to have a threesome entanglement. He was just trying to see how much he can get out of all of it.
a plethora. And then, you know what? I had to say, skirt. Pause. This is not it. This is not it.
So then he's no longer, so you're no longer friends, I should say.
No, we're no longer friends. We have not spoken in years. Like, and when I say I can detox a person out of my system, I will write you a Dear John letter in your inbox in Facebook and then delete you and let you read it and think about it.
And that's just that on that.
That's just it. We could pass. I'm so serious. I do this purpose. And it may be cruel, but that's the best way for me to be a healthier person is I need to detox you out of my system. So I will write, dear so-and-so, I can love you from afar, but I can no longer condone our relationship as to what we once were. And I will give them a list of reasons, send it, and then they will read it. And then whatever I said must be true because they cannot respond to that after that.
So there's no back and forth.
There's no back and forth. Once I said it, it's over. Done. Period. That's it.
Okay. So one last question. All right. So what about new friends? Because as you evolve into a person and you get different jobs and you go on different places, you begin to meet new people. And sometimes even in a workplace, you can't choose who you meet because they're there. And what if you just so happen to, I would say, click friendly with someone of the opposite sex? Is even entertaining that as a friend too much?
You know what? I had this happen to me. Going to a prestigious university that I go to, you do come in contact with a lot of people of the opposite sex. And unfortunately, in my department, it's very little males. It's more females. So I had to start seeking other males in other departments. And this particular male is an engineer major. And we did click, and I was a total, I'm going to say witch to him. And I'm not really a person that's a witch, but I was a witch. So I never entertained him one iota. And he was like, yo, even though you coming off like you don't care, I like you. Like, I'm like, whatever. Bye, Lance, bye whomever. It was like those things. And he asked me out. And I was like, yo, I really still am not feeling this kid, really. He's younger than me, But I was willing to entertain the idea of dating him to get me back out in that dating game. And we mutually agreed that, yo, it's best that we don't pursue it any further because it's going to be toxic. You going through things. I'm more mature and I'm more about self and building and stuff like that. It's best that we be friends and grow. Just growing friends.
So what if you guys are both in relationships and you're just genuinely just connecting as friends? Strictly platonic, I should say. Do you then think that it's okay to pursue that friendship where you kind of exchange numbers or you go out and do things? Because isn't that what friends do? This is why my conflict comes in when it becomes having friends of the opposite sex, because now there's someone else taking up time that could be mine. especially when it's the opposite sex, because the more you spend time with someone, the more fonder you grow of them, and you start to notice different things like, oh, I like when your hair is black instead of blonde, or oh, you're so funny, ha 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 ha. And then you find yourself thinking about those interactions, and it's not intentionally, it's just the way our chemistry is, just the way the male and female interaction is. So do you think that maybe you just shouldn't even attempt to have new friends?
You know what? New friends, once again, come with new boundaries. New friends, new boundaries. Keep it like that.
New friends, new boundaries.
New friends, new boundaries. And I will literally be like, hey, yo, you're reaching, and your reach is not there. You're crossing a boundary. Right. And that boundary, gotta be laid. Like, if you get new friends, new boundaries. I'm sorry. It's gotta be that way, because, like you said, feelings, chemistry, all that stuff, you have to have it, because you don't want it to be a threat to you, a threat to another person,
right?
The circle, a threat to the home, just the home. In general.
All right, I'm gonna pull up this post because I want to go over a comment or two that I saw, and I am going to end this off with what these boundaries probably should look like. But first, I'll have a comment from a guy, and he said, I know what other guys are thinking because I'm thinking the same thing about their woman.
Wow.
And that was response to, do you allow your significant other to have friends of the opposite sex? He just straight out basically said absolutely not, because I know what I'm thinking about when I'm with females, so I would expect for the men to be thinking the same thing. Do you feel like that's a lot of the case, when especially with guys, why they don't like when their women or spouse have male friends, because they know like how men think?
Yeah, in all retrospect, it only takes it's a rule to it. It's a rule to it in terms of how the body and mind attracts to each other in retrospect. And I've been seeing a lot of it on dating shows and even in observations. That only takes 5 minutes for a person to decide whether or not they want to or if they want to just bye. So It don't take much. So what goes on in a man's mind when they see a nice female curvaceous body, they're going to be like, oh, okay, I see what you... When a female sees a nice looking dude, oh, I like you. You smell good. You got that Armani on and you're looking real good. Yeah, it's going to happen.
Right. So, no friends, period. This conversation made me realize I'm sticking by what I decided the first time. No friends.
Yeah, period. Like, you got to know what you're dealing with.
Okay, so then someone else said, no, my rule is, if you want me to be in a relationship with you, then you can have male friends, because all they're doing is waiting in the wings to F you.
That depends on that. Males.
Because I had a lot of people in here basically saying, oh, I'm secure in my spot. Oh, it's all about trust. If you can't have trust, then you should have nothing. And I also feel like there's nothing wrong with being secure, and it has nothing to do with having trust. It's just the dynamic, I think, of how the female and male interact that can become a problem down the line.
Right. So in this aspect, yes, the women that are going to say they're 99 to 1,000% sure, confident, secure, they may be, as of right now. But right now, they may be secure. But if something was to happen outside of their union, insecure 101.
Right.
it's gonna pick up. You're gonna be looking like Inspector Gadget, looking for the perfume and the lipstick on the collar. You're gonna do that. So right now, they are secure because they don't sense anything. They don't see anything. Got it.
Okay. So also, I did get another comment that said, yup, long story short, we have an approved list of opposite gender friends, and we discuss any vibes or insecurities that may lead is not to feel like a specific friend may be suitable. So basically, I'm guessing saying that they have a list of friends that, okay, these are our friends, that's it, period. And if anything happened that makes us feel some type of way, then we want to discuss it, and then maybe we shouldn't be friends. You shouldn't be friends with that person anymore.
Right. That's how it should be.
That's exactly how it should be.
That's how it should be all around the board, really. In all actuality, male or female, if you know, I'm blanking out here. If you know that you're one of the people that are a flirt, like I said, you should
Right.
already know that your friendship should not go beyond anything else but a friend. Same rules apply to the male. It's no 20/80, 90/10, 40, none of that.
Right.
It's equal. It's equal all around the board.
Equal all around board.
Right.
Oh my God. Well, I've had so much fun discussing this topic with you. And I just made me realize even more that I'm going to stick by my decision of no female friends for my husband. And he's probably, he feels the same way. So I guess we're on the same board. But back to before we go, I just want to touch on a little bit more boundaries for those people who do have friends of the opposite gender. What would you say would be like the main boundary that you guys should set going forward with those friendships?
If you haven't experienced it, meaning anything that's involving like tough times with children, I guess finding a house is something that we always look for. Stuff like that you can talk about, but anything that's personal, like finances, sex life, any intimacy relations, anything of that nature, don't do it.
And what about phone calls and hanging out?
Phone calls, respectable hours. I mean respectable. I mean, like, you can call me between the hours of 9 to 5. Beyond that, click, denied. We're
Okay.
not doing 10 o'clock. We're not doing 12 a.m. the next morning, because that's
Right.
fishy. Hanging out, yeah. Lunch,
Brunch.
all them lunches. Nothing else.
Right. See, for me, I'm not having it. Just my opinion. Sorry, ladies. Sorry, guys. I'm not having it. No one's going out to lunch, brunch, dinner, drinks, coffee, anything with my husband, friend or no friend, unless you're his mama or sister or my sister. And that's about as far as it's going to go.
Oh, I was going to say you was included. I was going to say you was included. You would be included in the outing.
You could be included in the outing, but that's as far as it's going to go. Alrighty, so that is pretty much a wrap up, you guys. Please let me know how you feel about this conversation. Are you allowing your significant other to have friends of the opposite sex? Let me know down in the comment. I appreciate you joining in with me, Key. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Bye.
Bye.